I looked up to MF Doom in particular a lot because his come up was kind of strange, you know? He kind of was in the industry and then he left the industry because of tragedy and then he came back almost like on some revenge something. I don't know.
I bought it on vinyl. I didn't even have a record player. I bought it on vinyl just to stare at the album. And I stared at it and I just kept going, I understand.
If you were to choose a career and or fan base, which one would you rather have, Drake or MF Doom? Drake obviously is a massive star, but I don't think he ever really had an MF Doom type fan base or MF Doom type fans. There were people who would save money, buy a ticket, make arrangements to go to a Doom show. They would use PTO, take time off of work, take the time to travel there. Doing all of that, knowing Doom may not even be there when they show up.
Mike Flynn today, it was the old MF Doom line. Snitches telling all their business, sitting in court and being the...
MF Doom wasn't just another rapper who didn't fit in. He played the industry like a game and won on his own terms. He straight up dodged the fame trap, laughed at the labels, turned down the big checks, and still ended up with a cult following that's legendary. He became the kind of artist other rappers worshipped. But here's the wild part that barely gets mentioned. Doom saw it all coming. He was one of the first to throw shade at what some now call Diddy Doom. He didn't just spit bars. He called out how fake and scripted the rap game was getting. He said the culture was being snatched up by big business and stripped of its soul. And guess what? There's been buzz that Diddy tried to team up with Doom back in the early 2000s.
Within moral and ethical, like, like reasoning, I stay at it and go at it. So it's like a straight shot. The straight line being the path of the righteous, which it translates in Arabic. It's Suratul Mustaqim, the Sarat they call it, the filament. It's a path. They say it's the Suratul Mustaqim, the path of the righteous. It's not easy to balance on that string though. It's a lot of discipline involved, and morals, ethics. But if you keep within that path, you'll hit your goal. That's the most direct path to any goal or so-called dream that you could ever have. Your goal should be your dream.
Because of brutal COVID restrictions, that pain hit hard. And as if that wasn't heavy enough, his death stayed completely under wraps for 2 months. No public statement, no explanation, nothing. It wasn't until July 2023 that we finally heard what happened. But by then, the silence had already spoken volumes. Now fans are digging deeper. Was Doom really ahead of his time? Or did he know too much? There's fresh talk going around that Diddy tried to rope him into some collab back in the early 2000s. Some sort of secret deal that never saw the light of day. But Doom didn't just pass on the offer, he clowned it. Folks who were around back then say he was flat out disgusted with what Diddy represented in the game. While Diddy was out here flipping rap into a billion-dollar empire, Doom saw hip-hop as something sacred, not for sale. Diddy once bragged, "Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks." That one line, that was everything Doom stood against. He wasn't chasing clout, he was exposing the fakes.
Do you think that people really know you?
No, people don't really know me, and that's by design.
Who is this person, the Sean Combs, that we don't know?
We have yet to find out.
Right.
You have to come along for the ride. You have to come. I mean, that's the whole part of the journey. That's the whole part of entertainment. I mean, you don't rock with a brother for like going on 20 years and stop now. You got to see this movie all the way through, baby. Believe me, I got an action-packed ending for you.
Doom rocked a metal mask, channeling the villainous energy of Marvel's Doctor. Doom. He hid behind aliases, sampled old-school cartoons, and ditched the radio hit formula on purpose. Every move was a statement. He was calling out just how soulless the industry had become. To Doom, rap wasn't about flexing cars, chains, or fake fame. It was about truth, creativity, and keeping the art real. Doom never cared about image. He called out how the industry flipped the game. Lyrics and real messages got pushed to the back, while ego, branding, and flash took center stage. It turned into a circus. And even though Doom played the villain on the mic behind the scenes...
You ever been mobbed before? I don't think so. I'm mobbed. You right now.
You are? What is mind
Mind is in control of a situation that the other person doesn't realize that you're in control of, and they never really realize you were in control of it.
He was real solid, dropping gems for young artists and dreamers trying to find their voice. He always kept it 100. Never sell out your values. Doom believed success wasn't about fame or money. It was about doing it your way. He told upcoming artists not to fall for the trap. Don't get hypnotized by the chains, the deals, the fake love. To him, staying true to yourself was the real win, and that's where the contrast gets loud. While Doom was warning folks not to lose their soul in the hustle, Diddy was out here pushing contracts that some say felt like they were written in blood. While Doom was out here preaching about walking the righteous path, Diddy was bragging about how he could twist people's minds to get exactly what he wanted. Total control. That was the game he played. Diddy built his empire on shiny suits, ghostwriters, and squeezing talent for every dollar they were worth. He didn't just ride Biggie's legacy, he branded it. Then came Making the Band, where he had hungry artists marching across the Brooklyn Bridge for a slice of cheesecake just to prove they were loyal. That wasn't a hustle. That was humiliation. And when it came to women, the stories are messy. Disrespect, control. Some even say it looked like he wanted to be in their shoes instead of treating them right.
Diddy's bodyguard named Gene Deal, who used to bodyguard for him back in the day, as you can see in this picture in the background, straight up said Diddy is a demon.
But dude is a demon, bro. Dude is a demon. I realized he was a demon at Shine trial. And I don't care what nobody say, man. And like, when people still talk and keep on talking, if that priest ever come out and he talking, if people keep talking, you'll find out that a lot of that Gene Deal has said has been the truth and nothing but the truth. I was there. I was there when that priest or whoever he was rubbed that stuff on his head, put his hand on top of him, told him to grab the bird out the cage, the white dove, and he threw the dove in the air, and the dove acted like he ain't have no wings and hit the fucking ground. Boom! That motherfucker started walking my way. I'm looking like this, bro. I'm like, and he just walked past me. Like he didn't even see me. We going to the same place.
Now notice he mentioned a priest. Then he said something was rubbed on Diddy. Clearly that was oil. Because then he went into an animal, a dove, being thrown up in the air, and the dove was dead. That was a sacrifice. Gene, you probably don't know what that was. Probably don't read the Bible that much, but in Leviticus it talks about that. That was a sacrifice being done by a priest or someone who calls himself a priest. However, in Hebrews, God says that those sacrifices he never wanted. We are meant to understand that the sacrifices are within us. Therefore, people who are still doing that in the physical are acting out of a satanic place. It's a ritual that was being done for Diddy. A satanic ritual.
He turned hip-hop into a business machine, no matter how many people got crushed in the gears. And behind the velvet curtain, things get way darker. Whispers of black magic, secretive rituals, even mentions of strange behavior that some folks claim was straight up sinister. When you really look at how far Diddy was willing to go for power, the difference between him and MF Doom starts to feel almost spiritual. Diddy's name has been floating around all kinds of dark rumors. And yeah, he talked about God, but let's not kid ourselves. He never really said what kind of God he was repping. Now Doom, he was tapped into something real. His faith wasn't loud or flashy. It was deep, private, and rooted. Doom was raised Muslim, and both sides of his family came from strong spiritual backgrounds. His dad from Zimbabwe, his mom a Trinidadian who converted. He mentioned his Muslim roots in interviews, but never turned it into a spectacle.
The mathematics, as the 5% nation would call it, when they say 5%, right, the original meaning they had was that out of all the people in the world, only 5% of the world knew the truth, lived the truth, teach the truth. There's another 10% of the world who also knows the truth, but use the truth against others and trick knowledge and ways like that to manipulate the other 85% who are just sheep to be led this way or led that way. They say at any given moment, we could take 100 people and it'll be 5 out of that 100 that's gonna really be pure people. Maybe the other 10 are wise, but they're using their wisdom to make hustles off it. That was the original meaning of it.
He wasn't out here preaching, he dropped knowledge in code. Doom believed in bigger truths, trusting the creator's plan, staying aligned, and knowing that what you put out will come right back. His spirituality showed up in riddles, symbols, and layered bars that only the real ones caught. He was also influenced by the teachings of the 5% Nation, a movement that digs into self-knowledge, divine purpose, and mental power. Both of Doom's parents were deep into the 5% teachings, which break the world down into 3 powerful groups. The 85%, folks who are lost, unaware, and easy to control. Then there's the 10%, the ones who know the truth but twist it for their own gain, keeping the masses in check. And finally, the 5%, the enlightened ones who spread real knowledge and fight against the system's grip. Now, when you see the whole MF Doom versus Diddy dynamic through that lens, it lines up too well. Diddy? He fits the 10% like a tailored suit. He knows the inner workings of the industry, but instead of uplifting, he used that wisdom to build a money machine no matter who got crushed in the process. He played the game like a puppeteer, chasing power and profits over truth or soul. Meanwhile, Doom? He's the walking symbol of the 5%. The mask, the mystery, the message, all of it was his way of teaching, resisting, and staying righteous in a world that's sold out. And that mask? It wasn't just for style. It was his shield, his statement, his rebellion. MF Doom refused to let the industry turn him into a product. While everyone else was showing off chains and designer fits, he hid his face, saying, "Judge the art, not the artist." That was deeper than rap. It was a whole philosophy. He wasn't chasing interviews or red carpets. Doom was building a myth, a legacy. Each track was layered with codes, samples, and double meanings, like he was daring you to look closer, think harder. He wasn't just rapping, he was teaching, hiding the truth in plain sight. Meanwhile, Diddy was front and center, all flash, all branding, the face of hip-hop commercialism. Doom was the ghost in the machine, operating in the shadows, breaking every rule, and still gaining legendary status without playing the fame game. That's why Doom still hits different today. He never sold out, never switched up, and now fans are starting to ask, was he warning us the whole time? Was the mask not just a character?
Yeah, the whole mask thing, really, all right, it's a time in hip-hop where things, from my point of view, started going more to what things look like opposed to what things sound like. You know what I mean? Before, we ain't know what MCs look like until we went to the party and seen them rocking, you know what I'm saying? Or seen them, you know, most time you see them rocking at a show before you even knew, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, before video, pre-video, you know, so, you know, you really was going off the sound of the record, straight skills. See, once it started getting more publicized and, you know, it started being, hip-hop started being more of a money-making thing, then you get these corporate ideas where you want to put what it looks like to sell what it sounds like. But we dealing with music, so what I did was I said, all right, look, I'm gonna come with the angle of, it don't matter what I look like, you know, it don't matter what the artists look like, it's more what the artists sound like. So the mask really represents the whole, like, to rebel against the trying to sell the product as a human being, you know what I mean? It's more of a sound, so, you know, and at the same time, it's something different, you know what I'm saying? And it fits with the theme of the rebel, the villain, where, you know, to him, he don't care about the fame and all that shit. There's no consequence, you know what I mean? It's more of the message of what's being said. So I think it helps people focus more on what's being said. And it's still entertaining. It's still like the theater, and it has the appeal of, you know, something that could be considered entertaining, but that message is still there. That, yo, you know, villain represents anybody. Anybody in here could wear the mask and be the villain. Male, female, any race, so-called race, you know what I mean? It's about where you coming from your heart, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the message? What you got to say?
But a message? One thing's for sure. MF Doom played chess while the rest were chasing clout. Doom was the so-called villain who actually knew the truth about the music industry and the money machine behind it. But instead of cashing in, he chose a whole different lane, dropping cryptic bars, raw underground art, and real-life lessons wrapped in rhymes. He didn't just entertain, he warned. Stay sharp, stay ethical, and don't become another gear in the system. This wasn't just about two rap styles or fame levels. It ran way deeper. You had Diddy using knowledge as a weapon to control, to manipulate, to climb. And then you had Doom, using that same knowledge to open eyes, free minds, and expose what most were too scared to say out loud. In the end, this ain't just a tale of two rappers, it's a clash of legacies. Doom never needed platinum plaques or Grammy trophies. His art was too complex, too gritty, too authentic for the mainstream to digest. What MF Doom left behind? It's not just music, it's a blueprint. One of the most respected culture-shifting bodies of work in hip-hop history. He didn't chase cameras or trophies. He vanished from the spotlight, but built a legend in the shadows. Doom became the symbol of what it means to stay solid in a world full of sellouts and lies. Then you got Diddy, hit records, a billion-dollar empire, global fame, and now, alone. Facing the fall, surrounded by scandal, and likely staring down a future behind bars. The glitz is gone. The power faded. His name, no longer tied to success, but to darkness, manipulation, and everything twisted about the industry. Diddy thought he was building a legacy, but it collapsed under the weight of his choices. He chased control. Doom chased truth, and that's the difference. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about MF Doom's legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more real talk. See you in the next one.